Hey guys, how's it going? So I managed to catch an early screening last night at Cineworld. I have an unlimited card, so they were showing an early screening just for unlimited holders of Allied last night, which comes out on Friday, I believe, in the UK. So it'll be 2 days from now. But yeah, I caught an early screening of Allied, and I was kind of excited because it has got a lot of attention recently. It is, of course, the film that caused the divorce between Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt because he was accused of cheating on her with Marion Cotillard, who's in this film, who's beautiful, by the way. I wouldn't blame him. But so it's gained a lot of attention for that, and I was kind of excited to see like the film that caused this divorce because surely it'd be worth it, right? Uh, but anyway, I was also looking forward to it because the trailers set this up to be such an intriguing looking film, and uh, it's not as good as the trailer would suggest, but I'll talk more about that anyway. So when watching the trailer, I was sort of thinking this could go one of two ways. It could be either really boring or really sort of it could really captivate me and really suck me into this world and really make me enjoy this film. And to be honest, it does both. And I was expecting to do one or the other. It's not a great film by any means, but it's not a terrible film either. So the trailers really set it up to be this sort of mystery suspense thriller where Brad Pitt finds out that his wife could possibly be a German spy, and he has to sort of investigate and find out if she really is, and if she is, then he has to execute her with his own hand, and it's like, that's a good setup. It has a really good plot, but that being said, the first hour is pretty fucking boring. Um, I mean, at first it was cool. I mean, the first scene straight up Star Wars: The Force Awakens. You've got Brad Pitt walking across this desert, and he's wearing like the mask like Raid in the beginning. It just looks like Jakku, and I was thinking, this is straight up Star Wars cinematography, and it looked really cool. And that's the good thing about Robert Zemeckis. He does some really nice looking films. I mean, I love the director. I mean, Back to the Future is awesome. I love it. So I love the guy as a director, and I was expecting bigger things from him. But yeah, like I said, the first hour is boring, and the reason for that is because it's all set up. The entire first act is just set up, and it's fine to have some setup. Like, you've got to establish a relationship between these two characters, but I'll say they don't actually do that very effectively. And that is because they sort of set these characters up to have this fake relationship, because they're obviously posing as each other's husband and wife, and they do eventually fall in love. But the whole falling in love thing, it never happens. You don't believe it either because they don't have any chemistry at the beginning of the film. They sort of, it's all awkward, like it would be on a first sort of pretend relationship sort of thing, but then it doesn't really change, and all of a sudden they're getting married, and I was thinking, okay, this is a set up marriage. They're pretending to get married because they're pretending to be together. Turns out that was their real marriage, and I was like, really? And then all of a sudden they're having a baby, and it's just like, how has this gone from this to this? And there's like a lot of kind of unnecessary stuff that happens in the background. Like, there's a whole sex scene in a sandstorm, and it's just, I was looking at the sandstorm like, that's really well done in terms of visual effects, but they didn't need to do this. Like, but it's just a small little gripe there. But my biggest gripe is that it's pretty boring to set up the movie, all of the other stuff that happens. And that's not what I wanted from this. I wasn't expecting it to be like 100% suspense, but I was expecting it to be more of a thriller, suspense thriller like they set it up to be. And I guess if they just set it up as a romance movie, people wouldn't go and see it because it would, again, it would look boring. But they can't lie and say that it's not that, because most of the movie is just a romantic story. And all of the sort of, it feels like two different movies. Like, the first sort of half is this love story, and it's like one of those cheesy typical love stories, which can be good if done right. But a lot of the dialogue isn't great, so it wasn't really done right. And the last half, or even the last sort of half an hour, is this really cool espionage style sort of romantic thriller, and that is what made the movie better. What my best parts of the movie, really, what I really enjoyed, is the whole stuff where, you know, these sort of governments like to, Brad Pitt's character, they sort of say to him, hey, your wife's a German spy. we need you to investigate this and all that stuff where he's trying to figure out whether she is. It was interesting to me and it was a lot better. I mean, some of the scenes, like there's this party and he's just sort of looking across the room at her talking to someone and it's like, oh, maybe she's a spy. Maybe he's a fucking one of Hitler's soldiers. And it's like, yeah, we're not buying into that. But the stuff where he is investigating and trying to figure out whether it's true or not, I really liked it. And it really did make the movie better than it was. But just the whole setup brings the movie down for me. And that's why I can't say it's a genuinely good film. And I can't recommend it to people like I would if it was what the trailer suggested. Because it looked like it could have been a genuinely really great and original movie. And wasn't really in the end. Performances are very good. Brad Pitt gives a good performance and he gives his all. I mean, sometimes it felt like I wasn't even watching Brad Pitt. He didn't do his typical sort of macho man thing, so that was great. And Marion Cotillard's great in this movie. The two leads are like very good, and they interact well with each other when they need to. But sometimes the chemistry isn't there, and that's not really how I wanted to see this movie. And it was weird. Lizzie Kaplan was in this film as well, which I wasn't expecting. And all of her scenes, she just kind of felt out of place. You'll see what I mean when you see it, but yeah, that was kind of weird to me. But fair enough. So yeah, overall, Allied is a film that I enjoyed in parts, but overall it really wasn't as good as I expected, and it wasn't what I expected it to be. And that's partly due to marketing, which fair enough, they have to market it to make it look more interesting than it actually is. But in a way, that kind of just feels like a cheat on moviegoers. But fair enough, I guess that's what the media industry is about now. They're all about that money. So, yeah. I also only just noticed that I think the title's like a play on words, like Allied because they're allies and they're together, but the lied bit at the end I didn't notice until I saw on the poster that the lied bit was highlighted. It's a pretty cool title. Anyway, let me know what you guys thought of Allied, and I'll see you guys soon.